Unreal. As more information pours in, I thought I would do a follow-up on my initial train derailment story, as now two more trains have derailed, at least one of them possibly having some chemicals on it. I don't know where our transportation transportation guy is right now, but this is odd at the very minimum. Very suspicious. Let's take a look at all these updates. I do want to caution too that, there is a high, there is a lot of incentive to kind of, Photoshop videos or, images and all this kind of stuff for viral purposes on Twitter and TikTok and these natures. So we can only take these photos at face value. I suspect some of them are fake, but there's enough smoke here where it's very curious. Not to mention two more trains derailed today. First, we're going to talk about this one. And at least one person didn't survive in Texas after a train derailment in Montgomery County. Authorities are asking people to avoid the area due to possible hazmat situation. What is happening on our railways? I think, ultimately, I don't know. I think that this is obviously to have this many in a day. Sometimes you get this like, you're like a prisoner of the recent history. Maybe there's been some, there's always been a bunch, and now it feels like we're all paying attention. But this feels a little bit different. By the way, we hit our member goal for today, but I did upload a members only video on here and Locals and Subscribestar. If you want to check it out, it's how much money does the quartering make? So I thought I'd make it kind of spicy, incentivize people to check it out. Energy crews respond to train derailment in Splendora area. It happened around 7:30 a.m. Splendora PD said the train was heading south when a big rig crossed the tracks and was hit. The 18-wheeler was dragged half a mile down the tracks, and this happens. They try to, make it before the gate goes down. I don't know if there were gates at this particular intersection. There aren't always gates, as far as I know. Of course, it was heading south. Police said there were no guard arms. Oh, there you go. Or lights at this crossing where it took place. Well, why would the heck would that be? But the driver of the truck should have had a clear line of sight to see the train coming. Views from 11 Air shows several cars off the tracks. The Splendora PD said about 15 cars derailed. Number 2 today. I'm sorry, that was number 2. This is the third. So we had the other one back in Ohio, but this one, not only third derailment. This one happened in Enoree, South Carolina. No confirmation yet of any potential hazardous materials. All we know is something seriously wrong with our train system. Where is Pete Buttigieg? Where is the media coverage? Well, look, to be fair, I live around a lot of train tracks, and trains have derailed several times in my life here. It's crazy how loud it is, even when you're not that close. Even local news didn't cover that. So I don't know. This one here, again, just looks like a smaller derailment. Looks like maybe the last couple of cars, I think, here.
We're working to learn more about a train derailment in Spartanburg County. Details are limited right now, but first responders tell us some of the train cars came off the tracks. This is near Highway 221 in the Enoree area. We know that CSX officials are on scene.
So it looks like it's off the track, but it's not a complete collapse. So these two, thankfully, I mean, this one person did not survive the first one. We also don't know if there's any kind of material spill, but that one seems more like, nothing, none of the cargo was lost. The same person, DC Drano, also tweeted they only evacuated people in a 1 mile radius of the Ohio train crash. Allegedly, now again, the toxic acid rain cloud has a 200-mile radius that we know of. Now, we already know about, animals and stuff like that. You see 200-mile radius report for East Palestine Village, Ohio. I don't understand. Now this 200-mile radius is including people's areas. You know, the toxicity of these are causing animals and stuff like, you know, to not survive hundreds of miles away. EPA, it's safe. I mean, that's a big zone. And then also this picture floating around, there was a picture floating around here. Again, there's no way to determine. It's not like there's a picture of today's newspaper on it, although it would be helpful if there were. You know, you have these kind of obviously images of, look at just the sky too. Wow, what a, you know, nothing to see here. These are pictures of what appear to be acid rain damage on a car. But again, you don't really know when those were taken. They could be Google Photos. I don't know. But they tweet acid rain eating through cars 70 plus miles away from catastrophic derailment, spewing burning vinyl chloride into the atmosphere. Residents of Palestine, Ohio evacuated, wildlife not surviving. Over 100-mile radius, simple sample teams dispatched. You know, it's interesting. It's certainly an ecological disastrous mess. And then this, thanks to Raw's news alerts, breaking, according to them, vinyl chloride, a deadly chemical, has contaminated the Ohio River. This serves more than 10% of the United States population, has reportedly become contaminated due to the chemicals from the East Palestine train derailment. The river supplies public drinking water to over 5 million people, in addition to industries all the way to West Virginia, affecting over 30 million people who live in the basin. I mean, it's absolutely insane.
I am currently in Negley, Ohio. I'm at the corner of By Road and US 170 North. This is the bridge that goes over top of Leslie Run. This is their filter barrier that they have currently. But I think it's important for people to see the dead fish. I'm gonna walk under the bridge here.
So, you know, we saw some of that. You see closer to 15 states if you look at the Ohio River. Now, what are the levels? I don't know. You know, what are the levels of, you know, what I want to do is, first of all, at this point, I'll promise you that I will stay on top of this. So if you haven't yet, please do subscribe, turn notifications on. It's difficult because, you know, again, a lot of this is happening with citizen journalism. In fact, some people are reporting that there were arrests made from people trying to cover this. You see a lot of people on Twitter asking questions. Look, whatever happened in Texas, or where just a single car came off, that's hard to get alarmed about. The other one obviously looked a lot more, but with a semi crossing the tracks, that actually happens more than you think. Not, you know, some people might say, hey, well, why were they there? What were they doing? Were they doing it on purpose? We don't have any information to indicate one way or the other whether that was. But this other one now, it's like the potential cover-up is worse than the crime. You see here, has Joe Biden or the White House even acknowledged everything going on in East Palestine, Ohio? Benny Johnson writes there have been train derailments in East Palestine, Splendora, Texas, Enoree, South Carolina. You know, the Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg, has not even acknowledged as far as anyone knows what's going on. Here's the thing is, like, the less people talk about it, the more people speculate. This is one of the things you see here. Phoenix Ammunition writes, I'm 3 hours, 45 minutes from where the derailment occurred. The coverage is terrible, and I don't know what to trust. So I'm considering making the drive myself to see it. I mean, I guess, you know, I get it. It's so hard to tell. You know, these other derailments, it's tough to say that they were interested or that they were related. But you see Styx Hexenhammer seeing propagandists pretending that the Ohio train thing was reported widely when it first happened, and there's no any potential cover-up involved. These people are more gaslit than I mean, look at this picture from a commercial jet. You can see it in the, you know, breaking the cloud cover. You know, the rain thing is obviously very concerning. The fact that, you know, people continue to not cover it. Where's FEMA? You see 4 hours ago, Pete Buttigieg has finally emerged today. Not a single comment about the train in Ohio. Instead, he bemoaned the whiteness of the construction industry. It's a miracle this country is able to function at all under this regime. I mean, with everything going on this week with the balloons and all this kind of stuff, it's just, and it's only February. I mean, here you have actual local people saying stuff.
We now know 3 more chemicals that were on board the Norfolk Southern train that derailed here in East Palestine just over a week ago. And we're being told that some of those chemicals are dangerous.
We basically nuked a town with chemicals so we
Sal, hazardous material expert.
could get a railroad open.
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency sent a letter to Norfolk Southern stating that ethylene glycol monobutyl ether, ethylexyl-acrylate, and isobutylene were also in the rail cars that were derailed, breached, or on fire. Caggiano says ethylexyl-acrylate is especially worrisome. He says it's a carcinogen, and contact with it can cause burning and irritation in the
Why is nobody talking about this? 5 hours ago, Ty's Tough Talk writes, update, the issue in Ohio is right on the Ohio River, the 3rd largest river by discharge volume in the United States. It flows directly into the Mississippi River. A catastrophic confluence of factors here. Thousands of farms may be affected. People, talking about their drinking water. This is nuts. And it's just, where's the information? Why is there no coverage on this? Why am I having to rely on Twitter? Make sure to leave a like on this video if you haven't yet. Please do subscribe down below. I will keep covering this. Turn your notifications on, and we'll talk to you again real soon.